Hey everybody, Erin here, welcome back. We're getting into a tutorial on how to grade a pattern. The main reason that you would want to grade a pattern versus making fit adjustments is that the fit adjustments are there to kind of help you tweak the pattern, add length here, add width here, shrink it here, make it longer here, make it bigger there, raise this point up. It's to tweak the fit of a pattern that generally fits you. Grading is meant to accommodate an entire size. So you will need to grade a pattern if your size is not included in that range. And that's my situation because I'm working on Simplicity 8520 in this tutorial, which is a girl's onesie, but I'm making it for a toddler. And so she's a couple of sizes too big for that pattern, so I have to grade the entire thing down because there's no amount of fit adjustments that would accommodate for her. So one thing to note about grading, when you are working with a pattern and you haven't yet cut out your pattern pieces, one tip that I want to share with you is that if you are grading smaller, that means you're going to be working within the pattern sizes that are already on the paper. So you essentially do not have to cut out your pattern pieces first because you're going to be working inside of what's already there. If you need to grade larger, then you will want to cut out your pattern pieces first, tape them to some paper, and then you'll have the room to work around them. And the reason being is that when the pattern companies, myself included for my patterns as well, when they're laying out the pattern pieces, they're trying to get these pieces as close as possible to take up less paper, which means less cost for you. So you're not going to have the room around it to make the adjustments to expand that pattern. So you'll have to cut that pattern piece out. You need to figure out how many sizes that you need to grade up or down. Now it doesn't matter if you are grading up. I'm going to be grading down in this tutorial. It's the same exact procedures, same exact process. You just need to adjust your numbers accordingly. So here's how you figure out how many sizes that you need to grade. In this example, a size small is a 26-inch chest. Now that's not the exact measurements of the pattern. I don't have it in front of me, but let's just go with that, okay? A 26-inch chest measurement. But I know that my child is a 22-inch chest. But I know that the person that I am making this project for has a 22-inch chest. So there's a 4-inch difference, okay? So let's park that 4 over here. We have between the sizes of the small and the medium on the pattern, there's a 2-inch difference in the chest. That means that the small is a 26, the medium is a 28. So that says, maybe the pattern grader is working with about a 2-inch difference in the chest for these immediate sizes next to what I need. So now I know how to calculate. If there's a 2-inch difference between the small and medium, then theoretically, generally speaking, there can be a 2-inch difference between a small, an extra small, which is not included in the pattern, and an extra, extra small. You'll take your pattern, you'll look at the two sizes that are closest to where you need to go. So if you are working with grading down, you're going to look at the two smallest sizes, look at the difference between those measurements, and divide that by what you need to accommodate, which is my 4 inches. So the 2-inch difference between the two smallest sizes divided by the 4 inches that I need is 2. 2 sizes that I need to grade. Same difference goes on the large size. So check your pattern. You'll definitely need to know what those 2 sizes are. So now that you know how many sizes you need to grade, now we can start grading. So let's hop to the pattern. Okay, so I've cut out a pattern piece to show you how to do this, just for the simple fact that when you're grading smaller, you don't have to cut out your pattern piece first because you are going to be working within the space. But when you are grading larger, then you'll need to cut out your pattern piece, tape it to some paper, and then work around it with that extra space. I did not need to cut out my pattern piece, but because the large pattern sheet would have been crinkling and been very loud while I was recording this video, I decided to go ahead and just cut it out. So what you need is something to write with. I'm using a pen. I would have used a Sharpie, but as I was testing this for the camera, the Sharpie actually bleeds all through the paper and it does not give a very accurate line. So I'm going to use a pen, and I'll make sure to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing, okay? So now, get your pattern piece that you want to work with and get a piece of paper. You will be marking on this paper, so make sure it's not anything important. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the grading that already exists to help us determine how to move, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, you can pick anywhere on your pattern piece. I like to start at either corners or areas with notches because they give us a point to work with. So I'm going to start with notches. I'm just going to choose one. I'll choose the one in the middle. The reason I like to use notches is because I need to draw a guideline on this pattern, and that line needs to be as perpendicular to the other sizes as possible. Now this pattern only includes 3 sizes. If you are working with a pattern that includes more than 3 sizes, then you only need to use the 3 sizes that are closest to the area that you're going to. So if you're grading smaller, then use the smallest 3 sizes as your guides. If you're going larger, use the largest 3 sizes as your guides. Now I want to give you guys a caveat. This is not going to be scientifically perfect, okay? Grading patterns is a skill, it's an ecosystem of its own, and we are doing a rough best estimate of grading for our home sewing projects. So do not take this as the complete standard on grading forever and ever, okay? I just want to say that. So place your paper, the straight edge, through your notches, aligning as best as possible, and you're going to draw a line, a guideline, just like this. And using your paper up against that guideline, you're going to make a couple of dashes here on your paper for the sizes. So I'm just using this top point here as my first one. The second one, the second size, I'm gonna make a line, and the third. Okay? And so again, since I know that I need to grade down 2 sizes, I now have 2 sizes, 2 extra sizes marked on my paper. If you need to go down 3, then you'll need to mark 3 notches on your paper. I simply move down my paper along that guideline to the smallest size, and I've got my 2 notches here, and I'm simply just going to transfer those notches onto the pattern. Actually, you don't need this one. You just need the bottom one. You need the size that you're actually going to write. So you just transfer that notch, and there's your first line. Now I'm going to move down a couple of inches, and I don't have any notches here, so I'm just going to use my best judgment and place my paper perpendicular to the lines that are already here, and I'm going to draw a guideline. I'm going to make my notches for the top edge and then my 2 sizes that I need. I move my paper down, aligning that top edge with the last size that's on the pattern paper, and then I've got my 2 sizes down, and I just transfer that line on over here. Like that. And I just move along the pattern, adjusting my paper as needed, and I continue to do that. So align your straight edge perpendicular, draw your guideline, make your notches, move your paper down, keeping your notches aligned with your guideline, and transfer the size that you need onto your pattern. And you'll just do this all around the pattern. So I've got 3 points here, and you keep going. There is a caveat that I will explain. Guideline, notches, adjust, and transfer the notch. So now we got to a corner. Corners are actually very good because we will be able to draw our guidelines through those points, and we know that that's going to be a straight line. So this is just to explain what's going on here on this pattern piece. This is a hood, and this first set of lines is the cutting line. This second set of lines is the fold line. And so I need to transfer both. So I'm aligning my paper through the points on the corners. Making my notches. Moving it down and making my cutting line notch. Like that. And I'm going to do the same, just flip my paper over, I'm going to do the same for the fold lines. Like that, okay? And you just continue all the way around. So I'm gonna mark all of these lines because these are the cutting lines. And these are my fold lines. I'm just going to draw my fold lines a little longer so I can keep up with it. And I'm going to move it down. Okay. So this bottom piece here is just a single line, so that doesn't matter. So I'm going to come back over here and finish out my grading. So I've got my points plotted, my fold line and my cutting line, and now I'm going to use a ruler to connect those lines. And this is where you can kind of clean up your plotting. And you're following the angles that the pattern has already given you. So this is my fold line. I'm going to write that down. And then when it comes to curves, you can use a French curve ruler, you can use a hip curve ruler. If you can find something that can mimic the curve that you need, And now my pattern piece is graded. And this is my new pattern piece. This is the hood for my baby. So that's it. That's how you grade a pattern. Now I want to give you guys a caveat. This is the quick and dirty way to make a pattern larger or smaller based on your needs in accordance to what came with the pattern, okay? Grading is in its own ecosystem. It's its own skill set. Like, there are people who have specific jobs just to grade patterns. It is usually something that's very mathematically involved, and some people even use computer programs to do this. I still want you to take this technique, put it into practice in your home sewing, but also make a test garment to make sure that it fits and aligns how you intended it to do, okay? So I just wanted to make sure you know that this is not scientifically perfect. This is the quick and dirty method to grading your pattern. So if you have any questions, if you have any other requests for tutorials, make sure to drop a comment down below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.